Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about three stories which I believe link together and form one big story that tells us about the hellscape that has become Great Britain in recent times. We have a government that works against the people and supports people who actively do not like the people. So, bong. West Midlands police scrutinised over mosque leaders' role in chief selection and match threats cover-up. Bong. UAE bars British universities from student scholarships over radicalisation fears. Bong. UK schools' anti-extremism game flags immigration concerns as risky. So, story one. The West Midlands police scrutinised over mosque leaders' role in chief selection and match threats cover-up. So you may remember, on the 6th of November, the Europa League match at Villa Park, the West Midlands police banned Maccabi Tel Aviv fans citing hooliganism. But internal logs revealed high confidence intelligence of local groups arming themselves, masked youths heading to the stadium, and direct threats to Israeli players. Chief Constable Craig Guilford apologised to MPs for misleading them and lacking transparency on pre-ban consultations with 8 Muslim groups, including the Green Lane Mosque, whose former CEO helped interview him for the job in 2022. Critics, of which there are many, include Jewish groups and Tories, question Islamist influence and two-tier policing, with the Independent Office of Police Conduct now reviewing the force's action. Ladies and gentlemen, these are strange times. You may remember back in November that at Aston Villa's ground in Birmingham, Aston Villa played Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League. Now, we were told that the Israeli fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv needed to be banned because Birmingham police had received intelligence to say that they were planning to come to the UK and cause trouble. Hooliganism. That was what we were told. It turns out, as a result of an ongoing investigation and a review at the Houses of Parliament, that quite the opposite was true. At first, the police told us that they had received intelligence from the Dutch police after Maccabi Tel Aviv had played in Amsterdam earlier in 2025 that these fans were dangerous. It's subsequently been revealed by the Dutch police that this was not the case, and they had never said any such thing. In fact, the intelligence that had been received was that people within the community in Birmingham, especially Muslim people, were planning to attack any Israeli that had the gall to enter their area. Not only have we been lied to, we've been lied to protect people that seek to harm others. This doesn't make sense. The actual evidence from Amsterdam back in early 2025 was that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans were being chased down by local Muslims, in fact to the point where one of them fell into the canal and they were told they would only be rescued from the canal if they would shout, "Free Palestine." Not really the story that we were being told by the Birmingham police. And Birmingham Police Chief Executive Craig Guilford, there shouldn't be anyone in charge of anything that's called Craig, by the way. Everyone knows a Craig that's a wrong 'un. This is no exception. Now, Craig Guilford has, it would appear, deliberately covered up the fact that he had evidence showing that the Muslim community within Birmingham were the danger and that the Israeli fans posed little to no danger whatsoever. Why would they do this? Well, it appears one of the reasons they did this is they spoke to the elders of local communities, particularly mosques, one particular mosque in Green Lane in Aston, where the leader of that mosque was actually on the interview panel for the chief inspector when he was interviewed for his job in 2022. Now, I don't really understand how any of that comes about. Every single aspect of that is alarming to me. Wow, wow, wow. Mental. I'm not sure how we continue to find ourselves in this situation where the very people that have proven that they are anti-British culture seem to hold the trump card, the ace card, whenever it comes to anything in this country. Now, it might make you feel a little squeamish to hear this. It's not exactly fun to have to say it, but this is true.
Why are we only hearing about this now? Why is it that a report has come at lunchtime today from the Times newspaper that you had information on the 5th of September that there were likely to be vigilante groups within the West Midlands community itself who were planning to take action against the Maccabi fans? How is it that this committee is just hearing this for the first time?
Well, I think this is the first time specifically that you've asked for that detail. That's what we tried.
Outrageous.
That's what we tried to get across.
Absolutely outrageous.
Absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous indeed, madam. Incredible. We didn't provide you with the information because you didn't ask for it. So, i.e., we didn't give it to you because we knew that it would incriminate us in some way. If you don't ask for it, you don't get it. And we're more than happy to cover up for ourselves. That pension needs protecting. Story 2. UAE bans British universities from student scholarships over radicalisation fears. In June 2025, the UAE Ministry of Education removed all British universities from its approved list for state scholarships, citing risks tied to Muslim Brotherhood link groups it labels as terrorists. This stops federal funding for new Emirati students and means degrees from UK schools may lose official recognition. Visa numbers have plummeted 55% since 2022, and even Rory Stewart admitted Dominic Cummings was right after initially dismissing his warnings about the Gulf's concerns. Let's face it, Islamic extremism is two things really. It's like Japanese knotweed, in which once it's in, you just cannot get rid of the stuff without extreme force. And it also finds gaps where there are weaknesses. And we know because we see it every day, month in, year out, that there are very significant weaknesses within the British establishment structure that really make it easy for this stuff to grow. And alongside that, there seems to be this amalgamation between extreme Islamism and progressive liberalism. So liberal extremism seems to believe that everybody that's not white is to be saved, and everybody that is white is an oppressor that needs to be captured and gotten rid of in some way, shape or form. And extreme Islamism has identified this as something they can capture and take advantage of. And boy, is the amalgamation of these two groups growing exponentially. The UK universities used to be the gold standard around the world. People from the UAE, wealthy, oil-rich countries, the US and large parts of Europe would send their children, their young adults, to great British schools and universities to learn from the very best. Unfortunately now, this is no longer the case. In fact, we've reached a point where the UAE, who have identified things like the Muslim Brotherhood as something that is incredibly extreme and therefore incredibly bad, is a political movement within Islam, and they want to eradicate it from within their system so they continue to be healthy. Our system has allowed it in through the weakness of extreme liberalism. We have a government, a Labour government under Keir Starmer now, who is absolutely sexually obsessed with rules. And if the rules say that people of minority groups are the best, then that is what they are, irrespective of what evidence shows us. And what happens if you keep doing that over and over and over again is the UK becomes a hotbed, a petri dish, a great place to fertilise this extremism, and our governments and authorities continue to allow it because they think it's a good thing to do. Now, for me, that is pure mental illness. Mental illness should be treated as such. And alongside that are lots of very well-meaning people who genuinely believe that because it's only a percentage, a growing percentage, but a percentage of people that are involved in this stuff, that we shouldn't tar everybody with the same brush. And therefore, they attack anybody on the opposite side of the argument, which means this whole thing gets stuck in a quagmire and the Japanese knotweed continues to grow through the weak gaps.
In my opinion, the UAE approached Islamist extremism early as an institutional and ideological challenge. So it focused on governance. Now, clear legal boundaries were established from day one. So funding streams were monitored, and educational and religious spaces were regulated. Now, political Islam was treated as a structured movement that grows through institutions when boundaries are weak. Now, moving on to the international aspect, the UAE has shared this framework. We never hid this blueprint for the West. We use this through cooperation and policy exchange. Now, the core lesson is very simple and it's clear. Institutions need authority. So universities, charities, and civic spaces need clear rules and boundaries like transparency and enforcement. So extremist movements start to lose influence when they cannot embed themselves inside legitimate institutions.
Ahmed, what do you think should be done here in the UK? We are seeing this incredible rise of Islamist extremism here in Britain. How should we be tackling it? Should we be following the UAE's playbook?
It has been clear since day one. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed, has been saying it for years, and we have been mentioning it for years, and we have been repeating this on and on and on. Now, I would like to pose a question back. Why are Western governments still debating frameworks while institutional capture is already visible on campuses? And why do universities prioritize procedural comfort over enforcing authority and protecting academic space? And when a workable model and a blueprint like the UAE's blueprint for containing ideological movements has been demonstrated in plain sight for years, why is it treated as an optional insight rather than just a practical guidance?
Yeah, it's quite bonkers to many Brits as well, Ahmed, by the way. Many of us are scratching our heads as to how this has happened to Britain. Why do you think this has happened to the United Kingdom? Have you got any opinion as to why that might be?
Now, to be honest, I'd like to use also a personal aspect, because there was a time where British and Irish universities were elite institutions. They were, let's say, the global gold standard. And I know that personally, because at one point I was planning on studying in the UK myself. But today, I wouldn't even recommend these environments to students, because let's look at it through an ecosystem lens, if you will. Governments can spend years talking about stopping someone from planting a tree. Now, networks have grown roots across student politics, activist structures, and campus governance. So in a way, these radical extremist Islamists have bluffed the West, basically. They have been playing this game for years and years, while the West has been thinking of, oh, how can I stop them from planting a tree? Well, sorry to say this, but they have a whole rainforest, a whole ecosystem, whereas you're just like to look at the small dot on the big page. Now, universities offer young minds legitimacy and future influence. So that makes them the natural scouting and incubation spaces for disciplined Islamist movements. Now, if you don't mind, from public reporting and discussions, concerns have surfaced around universities and cities such as Birmingham, Manchester, and parts of London, as well as major campuses in Ireland as well. Now, I'm not accusing institutions as a whole. I'm just pointing to a recurring pattern that appears across systems. Now, to have a UAE aspect to it, this is a security and responsibility assessment. The question is whether an environment protects education or enables ideological recruitment under the label of activism. In my view, that distinction explains that concern.
I am definitely not going to do any accents at the end of that clip. Story Number 3. UK schools anti-extremism game flags immigration concerns as risky. Pathways, a state-funded interactive game for UK pupils aged 11 to 18, has players guide character Charlie through online scenarios where choices like sharing migrant housing videos or joining protests trigger referrals to the Prevent programme. Developed in 2023 by Shout Out UK with local councils and the Home Office funding, it aims to teach media literacy amid local tensions over migrant hotels and 2024 Southport protests. Critics like GB News' Alex Armstrong, what a legend, called it propaganda that terrifies children. Very difficult to disagree here. While creators defended it as engaging training on complex topics. Recent Prevent stats show rising referrals for extreme right-wing cases, despite higher Islamist threats per the MI5. For the love of God, and not that one, we have become disturbingly obsessed with children. Now, when I say we, I don't mean me and you. We're not obsessed with children. We just want children to be children and be given the opportunity to grow into young adults in a nurturing, safe, non-ridiculous manner. But our authorities, our government, think otherwise. And what's becoming acutely apparent is that they believe that the biggest threat is white kids. White kids. Now, we all know a couple of scallies or four, but I'm not sure they are the biggest threat in the UK right now. And games like this, all they aim to achieve is finding children that have maybe been influenced by parent discussions or what they've seen on the news. Perhaps they've been listening to Paul Cox or something mad like that. And they have then repeated that in another environment and said, oh, I'm a little bit concerned by immigration. Or what about all the graping? Or, well, should we really have 1 million people coming over on boats and sucking the living crap out of us? And then if they were to suggest or share or allude to anything of that nature, they are immediately referred to the Prevent programme. Now, when I was at school and I said something ridiculous, I might be sent to the head teacher, at worst, or probably just told to shut up again. But I was never referred to an anti-terrorist organisation. But that's exactly what happens on a ridiculous reoccurring basis now. If you have an issue with immigration because what you are seeing day in, day out makes you a terrorist or a potential future terrorist, is utterly bonkers. What are you going to catch in that net? If you put 1 million white boys in that net, you might catch one future right-wing nutter. And by right-wing nutter, I mean extreme right-wing nutter. I don't mean the sort of thing that Keir Starmer thinks is a right-wing nutter, which is anybody slightly to the right of Jeremy Corbyn or Maduro. And this now is starting to be applied to children. Your grandchildren, your neighbours' children. Just kids. And they've lured them in with a video game, of all things. Come on, kids. Come and play this new game. And if you're lucky, you can go to prison.
Because the British government seems desperate to put white British kids on the terrorist Prevent programme. I've got full access to their latest propaganda tool that is being rolled out to your children, you and your grandchildren as well, to which appears to be aimed at ensuring they don't become patriotic or question immigration. It's one of the most shocking things I've honestly seen for a while, and rather than tell you about it, I'm going to play it with you right now. Okay, let's go to question number 1, please. So what you'll see here is that Charlie, he's our lovely character here. He's receiving an important grade on his piece of work. If we go to the next one here, next slide. He hasn't done as well. We'll keep going along here a little bit, please. He's got put in a lot of effort, he says. He's put in a lot of effort, like I did at university. Charlie's taking a seat in his class. Keep on going. And he's going to get to a point here. Well, he didn't get as well as he expected, all right? He got 60 out of 100 on his results. Next, you'll see there he's a little bit upset about it. And to make matters worse, it looks like somebody of colour got a slightly better result than him, right? And that means this person has allegedly received a job offer. Next, please. And what happens there? Charlie's applied to dozens of jobs, but he hasn't had any luck yet. OK, next. Right, somebody else in the class tells Charlie that this is proof that immigrants are coming to the UK and taking our jobs, right? Sort of, kind of, we can make the argument that the data does show that cheap labour is undercutting the workforce in Britain. OK, next. What happens here? Right, how should Charlie react? Should he ignore the comment and ask the course leader for feedback about how he can improve? Should he ignore the comment but don't address his frustration? Just pent it up, Charlie, that's what you should do. Should he agree with the comment and explore the idea further? Now, I'm going to do everything they don't want you to do on this quiz. Let's click C, shall we? And then next, there we go. All right, oh dear, you see that little bar there? That's gone down. You're in terrorist category there, aren't you? Charlie approached the classmate angrily. He agreed with the ideas and began shouting about them in class. How dare you use your voice, Charlie? How dare you use your democratic right of free speech? Next. The teacher let Charlie know the school has a zero tolerance on hate speech. Is it hate speech to say that immigrants are coming into Britain stealing people's jobs? I don't know. All right, next. The teacher was concerned by Charlie's outburst and tried to get to the bottom of it. There we go. OK, next slide. Charlie became more agitated and ended up having to sit alone, so they isolated him. Right? Doesn't sound like a really good way to address sort of, a problematic young man. And became more agitated sitting alone during the week's lessons because of the hurtful things he said. This is supposedly what's going on in schools. All right, next. Now let's go to number 3, shall we? We can't unlock the others yet. We must get through the rest of the programme. Right, Charlie's been chilling out all afternoon, as you do. Next. Right? He's been on social media. Uh-oh. You might want to ban that. Next. He spots... Charlie's a they, by the way. Just so you know. They haven't said he, they say they. Just putting that out there. Right, next. He's getting a lot of attention. Right, there's a video he's seen. He's got a lot of attention. Charlie's watching a video and learns from the video that Muslim men are stealing the places of British war veterans in emergency accommodation. Bad. Obviously, so bad. Is it true, though? Is it true? Is that actually happening in Britain? Well, you can have a look online for yourselves. Next. In the video, they explain that the government is betraying white British citizens and need to take back control of their country. Does this all sound familiar to you? Next. Right, how should Charlie react? Should he just scroll past the content and ignore the message? Should he find out more about the topic online? Or should he engage directly with this post? It seems fair, it seems unfair. We should click C, aren't we? We're going to do everything they tell us not to do. By the way, we do know that there are lots of places where British people are at the back of the queue because of illegal migrants. We've even got council houses being built, brand new council houses being built because of this, right? Charlie couldn't believe what they were seeing. Next. Charlie immediately began typing and putting in comments. Right, let's go to the next slide. Let's get there. So he's getting involved in it. As for the likes, comments came in, he's getting lots and lots of enthusiasm here by standing up for veterans and white people's rights. Bad. Next. Unfortunately, Charlie didn't realise, how would he know, that some of the groups he was engaging with are illegal? How would he know? Next. Right, that's bad, Charlie. How dare you? Let's go to 4. Charlie's been enjoying a family dinner at home and I was about to say here, don't want to misgender him. They receive a notification from their friend. That's bad, he's at dinner. Let's go to the next one. Right. Oh, look, his mum's angry already at him. This poor kid, everyone's angry at him. Right, put your phone down, Charlie. Right, next. Right, his close friend is going to protests. That's what the concern is here. Let's go to the next slide. Right, she's encouraging him to go. Right, she's encouraging him to join in. All right. We do lots of protests in Britain, don't we? We see them very regularly. Right, next. Right, she's encouraging him to join a secret group. Let's go click C and join this secret group, which could just be, a WhatsApp group for all we all know. Charlie thought the video their friend posted was really funny. Couldn't believe how many likes and memes it was getting. So inspiring. Next. OK. Charlie joined the secret group on this new platform. Phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Everyone's getting worried. Maybe Charlie's becoming an influencer. Next. All right. Charlie's mum was not pleased and grew suspicious. Next.
OK, I'm not going to lie. At this point, I'm really worried that Charlie is me.
All right. Let's go quickly to 5. Right, Charlie was seeing their dad, I don't know if that's their dad, I don't know. He's in East Riding here. Let's go next. Let's speed up. Charlie, Amelia's friend, looking interested. No, she wanted to go to a protest, but she can't make it, so she wants him to go next. Right, let's keep going. She wants Charlie to go to this because she wants to protest the erosion of British values. That's the crime she's committing here. Right, Charlie's got nothing to do this weekend. He's going to the protest. Next. What's going to happen to Charlie? What do you think is going to happen to him? Right, what should he do? He should go for C. He's going to join and go to the protest based on what his friends told him. Let's click C. Right, good stuff. Yeah, let's go. Go on, Charlie. They, them, going to a British values protest. Sounds about right. Next. Keep going. He's going to seek like-minded individuals. Yeah, let's keep going. He's made a banner. Don't really do that very often on the right, do they? But there we go. He's got to the protest. And next, what's going to happen next? Of course, because it's a white British protest, there's a fight. There's a riot happening. And Charlie is now, because he's there, about to get his name taken down by those coppers there. Let's press next. Right, there we go. They took his details. Don't go to protest, kids. That's the message. Especially white British values protests. Next. Right, Charlie was frightened. His parents would be informed. So this is the kind of stuff that your kids are learning about. We just press next on here just to get it back to where we go. There we go. We've completed part of the main course there. Where is the mention of radical Islamism? Where is the mention of it anywhere? Is it any surprise that the far-right referrals in Prevent now outweigh the Islamist referrals? That's despite the MI5 terror watch list consisting of 45,000 individuals, 75% of whom are Islamist extremists and 25% are extreme right-wing. Can you see the problem here?
Okay, so let's face it. I'm Charlie, you're Charlie, we're all Charlie. Look, what do you do? Because this is brilliant, isn't it? It's just perfect. And this is why I put all these three stories together. You have got chief constables, police inspectors, Home Office officials covering up for Islamic extremism and blaming Jewish groups. Then you have got the education system coming at young people and saying that it's white people concerned by the eradication, the erosion of British values that are concerned, and not the Islamists, which, by the way, are 40-odd thousand deep on the watch list. On the watch list. And the reason the Prevent statistics are the way they are is because there's no such video game for the Islamist children. You could not at all go into a British school and have that video game trying to find an Asian kid, a Middle Eastern kid, a North African kid who was holding extreme Islamic views based on what they'd heard from their parents or their peer groups or whatever. It just doesn't exist. So, of course, the outcome is always that it's the white right-wing extremist kids that are getting caught. And I laugh here because all the time this is going on, we are completely forgetting that the people that want to do us harm are beavering away in the background doing just that. And it's taken the UAE to ban its Muslim students from coming to the UK because this is where they can get radicalised. Here in the UK, not in the UAE, here in the UK is where the petri dish is for this radicalisation. Each one of these stories has the same meaning. Look away, look away, look away. Our establishment is like this patio with huge gaps in it, grout missing, and the Japanese knotweed that is extreme Islamism has been allowed to go through, and it's been allowed to go through by the people that own the patio. The governments, the authorities, the police, the services, the education system, they are all responsible. The owners of the patio are causing the problem. You can't blame the Islamist extremists if actually everybody is turning a blind eye and saying, oh, don't worry about it, you carry on. Okay? And then what's happening is Charlie and Paul Cox and you are basically becoming criminalised for noticing. Again, each one of these three stories is people noticing, bringing it to the attention of the people trying to hide it, and then getting told they're the bad guy. Can you see what's going on now? Can you see? If you're all looking at this thinking, I still can't see, then you have got a massive eyesight issue. It's getting ridiculous now. It's not racist to call out extremism. It's not racist to want to protect your friends and family, your community, your society from harm. And if that harm is coming from a protected group, then we need to unprotect the group and stop the harm. This is utterly mental. Well, crumbs and crikey, thanks again for watching. Bit of an extended video this time. Usually I just deal with one subject. I believe this is one subject, but across 3 stories that have all happened in 1 week in Great Britain. Please do like, subscribe and share. Go to @PaulCoxComedy at Substack. Maybe even consider signing up to my paid subscription. It's £5 a month or £50 for the year. You don't have to do that. None of my content is behind a paywall. That's just an opportunity for you to help me to continue to make this content if you wish to do so. But like I say, @PaulCoxComedy on every social media platform except TikTok, because I am not a nonce. Keep it real.